Hello guys. Welcome to my channel, Jura Tempest Federation. In our previous episode, we have seen how Kai complained about dungeon rule. If you have not watched the previous episode, I will put a link in the description below. To quick warning, this video contains spoilers from a light novel. But before we proceed further, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit notification bell for further updates. In this video, we will see what happens next. Now without further delay, let's proceed further. I see. Then Kai-san won't have enough time. Most likely. There is not much time left, surely this will mark the end of his attempt. There were 15 minutes left on the 3-hour time limit. Hearing that there wasn't enough time, Kai himself began to complain obnoxiously. Quit joking around. Are you giving me an order? I know you're incompetent, so there's no need for me to cooperate with you. Revive the level boss at once. Kai's bloodshot eyes were burning with desire as he talked to himself. Delta was listening to him rather indifferently, mostly ignoring his words, that is, until Kai's next line of rants caused her to twist her expression. Incompetent ruler is incompetent after all. These are rules set by you losers. I don't have to follow jack shit. He finally said it. He shamelessly said, in front of the Labyrinth manager no less, that he was gonna ignore the rules. No matter how much Kai shouted, the rules wouldn't change. But whether the Labyrinth manager would let him off the hook for that one, well, there was only one answer to that. Your speech has clearly violated the rules set by our nation. We won't pursue further responsibility, if you are willing to apologize. But if you continue to utter such hateful words, I will not sit by without action. What did you say? How dare a mere receptionist be so pompous? Don't be ridiculous. Delta had calmly given him the warning. Kai, on the other hand, took her for a fool, and laughed her words off. There has been a clear violation of the rules. Proceed to execution. Did you just say execution? What the fuck do you think you can do to me? The next instant, vines emerged from the ground, and ensnared Kai's body. What? The pain resistance of the revival bracelet has been deactivated. Will you apologize now? Small spikes emerged from the vines binding Kai's body, and had found their way through the gaps in his armor to pierce his flesh. He appeared to be in unbearable agony. Delta had cast spirit magic vine bondage without Kai's notice. Damn it. Do you think you can defeat me with this? This is the last warning. Will you apologize now? Don't underestimate me. That kind of lame magic can only... Kai suddenly lost his voice midway. That's because Delta had severed Kai's head from his body with her slim finger. Kai really had picked the wrong opponent when choosing to fight against Delta. He was indeed of rank A ability, but Delta was a dryad. Although she didn't have combat experience, by her racial instinct alone, she had already exceeded hazard class. With more experience accumulated in the future, surely, she would become calamity class like Trainee and the other dryads. There was no way someone like Kai could win. The audience couldn't help but feel shaken to see that Kai, the active participant during the tournament, was taken down by the nice lady Delta. They deeply believed that Kai was a strong man, yet he was killed instantly, without being given the chance to even resist. There was no way they wouldn't feel surprised to witness such a scene with their own eyes. Reading the current mood, Miles began to comment calmly. By the way, the words of the Labyrinth manager are equivalent to the rules of the Labyrinth. If you disregard the rules like just now, you will be adjudicated. According to Miles, as long as you followed the rules, you'd be just fine. How terrifying. Then what will happen to Kai-san? Not anything severe. They will only confiscate the items he obtained in the labyrinth. But the pain resistance function of the revival bracelet was also deactivated. Surely he would have felt immense pain. Well, there was a punishment for violators. It wasn't much in reality. The only punishment being that all of the achievements by the person in question would be forfeited, nothing else. If the person in question behaved too poorly, we may ban him from entering the labyrinth. But that would have to be done after some investigation. Kai-san is outside. But unlike Miles-san just now, he seems to have passed out. Kai's body turned into beams of light as his head was chopped off, but a new one regenerated on the ground. However, he had been in a coma since. After all, the punishment this time had a lot more punch to it. Delta utilized her special authority to restrict the function of the revival bracelet. It's certain that Kai would be fine even after being punished, but it would probably take some time for him to recover from the shock of dying. Considering the way he had treated Miles, as well as his arrogant attitude towards Delta, Kai really was an annoying man. That's why I felt avenged by what had transpired. Kai would more or less reflect on himself now. As long as you follow the rules, the safety mechanism of the revival bracelet will be intact. But Kai-san decided to ignore the rule. In this establishment, adventurers are barred from in-fights. You will also have to listen to the advice of the Labyrinth managers. There are many detailed regulations. We will be releasing a pamphlet regarding the must-know after our official opening. The receptionist will explain it to those who are illiterate. In order to prevent anyone from getting Kai-san's treatment, I hope all will abide by the regulations. And with the outcome like this, it is quite a shame for Kai-san. But after the official opening, if you wait for a while, the floor boss will be revived. Fights among adventurers are also forbidden. Please adhere to the rules and explore the labyrinth properly. Saka announced loudly. What do you mean by exploring the labyrinth properly? She didn't answer this question. The atmosphere amidst the audience had become a bit awkward, but Saka managed to swing the mood back around. During that period, Kai also regained consciousness, and upon recalling what had happened to him, he was both shocked and regretful. Seeing Kai recovering, the audience gradually regained composure. This is great, this is great. It looked like the audience had realized that Meyermeil's comments were accurate as well. While Kai was indeed annoying, observing him did yield us some useful information. As long as we re-examined our strategy and employed countermeasures to prevent high-grade adventurers from only coming in to loot treasure chests, we wouldn't suffer too much loss. On the other hand, this moment served to educate people on what would happen if you didn't adhere to the rules. And so, I was personally rather satisfied by the outcome of Kai's run. The current situation was that most teams had finished exploring the labyrinth, with Bassin's party still remaining. There were around 10 minutes left on the clock before the scheduled deadline. It was about time to have Bassin's party end this round. As I thought about it, I heard a scream, "Yah!" as one of Bassin's companions fell. He was probably ambushed by the monsters in the room, resulting in his right eye getting pierced by an arrow. That's why I said that opening a door without a care in the world was dangerous. There was a skeleton archer sniping anyone who wished to enter the room. The second person to fall was shot right between the eyes, and, unlike Kai, his body only vanished after 10 seconds. The labyrinth event was about to end. He picked the right time to die, so as to experience death in the labyrinth. The skeleton soldiers were taken down by the remaining 4. What? There had been no casualties until now, yet 2 had just been killed. But rest assured everyone, the people who just died would soon be safely resurrected on this surface. Saka gave her live commentary on the state of Bassin's squad. Meyermeil's also helped to fill her in. Bassin's party had a highly immersive fighting style. The audience couldn't peel their eyes off them. Or more precisely, the rather engaging fight, visible on the big screen, had made them immerse themselves in the scene as well. Every time a monster showed up, it was met with screams and yelps from the audience. Such reactions were quite interesting. Perhaps it was like watching a horror movie. When someone died, there were even people lamenting, as if they were at the scene. It may be just as interesting of an event to broadcast the exploration of the labyrinth itself. Although playing any footage would probably cause some issues, we should perhaps try to negotiate with adventurers challenging the labyrinth regarding the rights to play their footage. And just like that, I came up with this small idea. By the time I snapped out of my thoughts, the time was almost over. The experience itself was sufficient enough. With Bassin's party, the atmosphere was unnecessarily nerve-wracking. In terms of the outcome, they were very wonderful adventurers. At the start they were still pompous enough to mock Masayuki, saying that they would unveil the truth about the labyrinth, and that its vast landscape was but some trickery. Compared to their arrogant words from before, they seemed to have completely forgotten those things, and lost themselves in the exploration of the labyrinth. These people were shedding their manly tears and calling the names of their fallen comrades. Not only did they wallow in delusional ideas, they also liked to ignore other people's advice. But that did seem to be how a lot of adventurers behaved. Perhaps it would prove highly valuable to use these people as a case study. Well then, everyone, it's about time to get back. Alpha, who was in charge of Bassin's party, announced, clearly not reading the air. Bassin was frustrated by Alpha's attitude, yet she ignored him and forcefully activated everyone's return whistle. Son of a. The curse word slipped out of Bassin's mouth. But as soon as they got back to the surface, he immediately ate his words. Ah, Bassin and Nikki, I really do seem to have been revived. His fury fizzled out as his confused companions came to welcome them. This is rad. Did you really get revived? Yeah, I thought I was done for as well. But it didn't hurt as I imagined. The revival was very successful. What are you on about? There's no way that's true. There are not many people who know revival magic, it's all because of this bracelet. Bassin's party shared their joy as they chatted to confirm whether their revived companions were safe or not. Shit, my right eye. Why don't you try this? The man whose right eye was shot by an arrow was fully healed through the potion. This is really awesome. For guys like us, who rely on the strength our body delivers, this is the perfect environment. Is that so? We gotta try harder next time. No, you were trying too hard from the get-go. The danger of potential traps didn't even cross your minds, so I can't imagine how you could possibly make it to the lower levels filled with them. I managed to hold back all the things I want to point out about them. The audience's reaction was the important part. They had taken in the entirety of Bassin's party's walkthrough, and also got to learn just how safe the dungeon was. The promotional event was arguably a huge success. The challengers stood together on this stage. I also walked on stage and stood before them. This would be my final address towards this public demonstration of the dungeon. I'm not sure how everyone else felt. Did you all have fun? This dungeon is planned to be open in the near future. It's guaranteed to be safe, and we welcome those who are interested to challenge it. For those who made it to the 100th level underground, you will have the right to challenge me. The microphone in hand, I ended the event with this line. That was pretty good. The final match just now also excited everyone. The viewing of the interior of the labyrinth also gave the audience an immersive experience. And with that, the public demonstration of the dungeon concluded peacefully. If it had ended there, it would have been perfect. Rimuru, what's the situation? How long do I have to wait until the challengers arrive? He has obviously not listened to any of my words. This idiotic king of the labyrinth Veldora had contacted me through telepathy net. My good mood was completely ruined. So noisy, how many times do I need to tell you? Listen, there won't be any challenger going to the bottom floor this time. What? That's not what you said before. That's exactly what I said, you big doofus. You have to listen to my words carefully. We went on arguing for a while. This was a new low for this misbehaving brat to hit during this festival, though it was practically normal at this point. He just got too excited and messed things up. That was why, this time, I was going to criticize Veldora non-stop until he reflected on himself. That's it for today, guys. See you next one. For further more update, please like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to push notification bell.